When I say that I do choose God before the LGBT communities because I read my Bible and I chose Christianity, and I just hated like facing the world as a trans person because these hormones are making me tired. I hated the fact that my boobs aren't growing, but also I'm like, your boobs are not gonna grow. My heart yearns for God. That's why I feel like I need to lose grip of everything that doesn't make God happy. I feel like my love for God is so strong. That's why I do not enjoy sinning anymore. Then I went to the doctor and got my hormones.
Did you feel like life as a transgender woman, especially because you had already acquired fame before you lived life as a transgender woman, you were harshly judged because somehow you became a spokesperson of transgender living without you even realizing it? Do you feel like you were harshly judged by society for living life as a transgender woman? And were you content with who you are as a transgender woman?
Content because a lot of people don't know this. There's high suicide rates after people have transitioned versus before, and there's a reason for that. Um, and also there is a growing number of detransitioners now because it's not glamorous. And I think a lot of people, why they're censoring me on social media when I do sometimes speak about these things, is because they don't want people to know. It's almost like you're messing up my swag. Don't mess up my swag, but it's like people are losing their lives. And I almost became that person because after transitioning, I do not want to lie, I did enjoy it to some degree because I felt like I was at home. It felt so safe. It felt necessary. I didn't feel like I have to change my mannerism based on where I was and who I was with. It felt like it just made so much sense. But I can also recall the times where and I would hate it so much. I was like, why is this beard not going away? And you start having this idea cementing in you where you start de-associating yourself from your biological gender, where you're like, you know what, I'm a complete woman. And I feel like that's false to integrate in people because then when you're reminded of it, you get so angry. But it's a biological reality. And I just hated like facing the world as a trans person because these hormones are making me tired. I hated the fact that my boobs aren't growing, but also I'm like, your boobs are not gonna grow. You're a biological woman. I was struggling so much with it, and it didn't help that people were telling me that you will never be a girl. What do you think you are? You have a manhood, and it was just a lot.
Are you not being unfair though, to transgender women right now who have gone through so much? They're suicidal, they're told they're not enough, they're told they will never be women. Are you not being unfair in the struggle towards transgender people being accepted? Because there is dehumanizing that transgender people have to live with.
Of course.
And here you are, it feels like you've taken a choice. I'm going to be a man again, and nothing's going to do anything about it.
I haven't. I'll go back to I'll piggyback to how unfair I'm being because even up until today, I'm still telling people that I'm dealing with gender dysphoria. But I also feel like there's an attack on truth, and that's why a lot of trans people are losing their lives and detransitioning. If we can just accept the truth the way it is, then you can continue being a trans woman. Do you get what I mean? For me, I felt like
What is the truth?
I feel like the truth should have been for me. I shouldn't. They shouldn't. The idea shouldn't be installed in me that I'm a biological woman.
Okay.
Because then I never achieved that, and then I'm angry with myself. Then I'm
Okay.
suicidal. Do you
Okay.
get what I mean?
Okay.
And that's something that we are running away from. I feel like being trans and being, comfortable in your truth would actually save more souls than actually damage souls, because you're unique the way you are.
Has Eno quit being a queer person?
I get that question a lot, and I still don't know how to answer it because I feel like queer for me, because of the label, came with a lot of expectations. It's almost like when you're gay, you're expected to be a certain way, believe a certain way, act a certain way. And for me, I feel like it's always been like different for me. Not to say that I'm not queer, but it was just not assimilating at all. Do you get what I mean? So for me, when I say that I do choose God before the LGBT communities because I read my Bible and I chose Christianity. And choosing Christianity, and as a Christian, you need to understand it's all about like abiding by its values. There's no in and out. There's no being lukewarm. So I had to be like, God, if my desires, how the revelation came to me, I remember I was staying with one woman who literally was such a beautiful, kind person to me. And I was just going through a lot. And I understand that's why people saying that's the reason why I'm where I'm at right now with just like my religion and sexuality. It's not that. And I remember this randomly in a house alone because I had started reading the Bible from scratch. And I remember the first time when I read Leviticus 18, a man shouldn't lie with another man as he does with a woman. I called to lie, my best friend. I'm like, babes. Because I think it's different from when somebody tells you versus when you're reading it for yourself. There's some sort of degree of conviction that happens. And I remember calling my friend. I'm like, hey, do you know this verse? It's not like I don't know, but I'm shocked, and I don't know why I'm shocked because people have always told me this that there's no Sodom and Gomorrah, it's Adam and Steve. But that moment when it happened, I was like, oof, it's almost like I heard it from the first time. And I remember just calling, I was like, oh, mokgotsi wa ka Bibele e thata. Mokgotsi nna just that's why I said get inside the Bibele, but I want them. Hang like you were confused. You get what I mean? Anyway, we laughed about it. It was jokes at the time because I was still early in the Bible verses. Then I continued reading it and continued reading it and continued reading it. And I was like, oh my God. It almost looked like my lifestyle does not pleases my God at all. And he really wants me, like he said, come to me as you are, but you have to be reborn. So what does that mean? Does that mean that if I'm born gay, like I've always claimed that I'm born gay, does that mean that I have to be reborn from that because it has been stipulated in the Bible that it's a sin? I remember just feeling so guilty. I remember just hating myself. I was like, oh my God, God, what are you trying to say to me? I literally had this transition 3 months ago. I'm enjoying myself. I'm shaking my nyash. It's like, yo, my wigs are wigging. Like, what do you mean? Why am I feeling like this right now? And up until today, I am still trying to figure out what that is, but I know what his truth is. However, I made a decision because this is so confusing to me. I was like, you know what, God, my sexuality anyway has been so traumatic. Who I am has been so traumatic. My choices have been so traumatic. I do not even want to focus on this right now. I want to literally sacrifice my desires. I am tired. I just want to come to you. Do as you please with me. If you're saying that this is not good, I'm going to listen to you. I'm gonna listen and try to live for you and see what you can do with me. That's how I think. I think that's where the miscommunication came. Not to say like, oh no, it's a sin. Oh no, it's so bad and da, da, da. And I don't want to lie. I've met my friends on the show who have made me feel like, oh, your decision is da, da, da. They were not as kind as you are right now speaking about it. And to some degree, it has gotten me angry to a point where I'll say things that I shouldn't say, become defensive, but I'd never wanted to say it like that. Because why would I, cast a stone on myself when I'm still having the same sex attraction? But if God is saying these are the laws, I'm I feel like I even said it to my friends. I feel like be in my shoes. I hear you saying that I'm messing up your swag, but can you imagine going through what I went through in life? I just transitioned 3 months ago, and I'm getting this revelation. Did you stop to ask yourself, maybe how is Inno feeling in all of this? You can't imagine now having to leave who you are and wanting to please God because pleasing God means that you have to leave who you are. And people ask me, so you say you can't be gay and Christian? I'm not saying you can't be gay and Christian. You can be gay, but the Bible is saying that we need to be reborn. And I'm still trying to figure out myself, what is this? And I say to my friends, I feel like it would be better if we didn't claim Christianity, almost like how Black people will do with white spaces, go to white spaces that know that they're racist, and then be like, oh, white people are doing this. Why then do we not create our own religion that makes us comfortable and connect with God the way we want to connect with God and understand that's how God wants us to connect with Him, as opposed to being angry with the religion that existed before time, before we're even here, and now we want to be angry at people for speaking about the religion that is so specific about what it wants in order for you to be Christian. I don't know if I'm making sense.
God has a sense of humor, because God, through the test of time, whether known or unknown, continues to use queer people to change other people's lives for the better. The Bible says God qualifies the called and not the other way around. You don't qualify yourself. Anything that is self energy, anything that is self based is your ego and your pride, right? Are you not feeling like your revelation is impeding on other people's identity? their gender identity, their sexual identity, their human rights. Because as much as it is your human right to be in any religion you choose, it is also important that you have the responsibility to protect other people's rights in how you address these issues, especially as a public figure, because in the newness of your revelation, you took this online, and that can be dangerous. Why are you taking online something you are still confused about?
Got you. For me, I think when it had happened, it wasn't like, obviously, you know, when you're taking a video that you are taking a video, but it was more of looking for people who were relating to my story. And whilst I'm relaying it, because I did even say it in the video that I'm confused, also I'm trying to figure out where are nuances. Because if my truth then diminishes other people's rights, why is their truth not diminishing other people's rights? It's like, why is inclusivity excluding other people in the way? Do you get what I mean? And my intention is not to harm other people. And I think obviously I knew that in a way this was going to become a big thing and be taken out of context. That's why I started taking more videos trying to clarify myself that this is what I meant. And I'm not, and I made so many posts on Facebook like, do not use my story to dehumanize the LGBTQ plus community, because there are a lot of people like me. There's a lot of growing community and a lot of people that hit up my DMs. One of them being one of the famous TikTok people was like, babes, I get you. So who speaks for those people when we are not speaking our truth and we are held with so much anger because we don't understand what's going on with us? Do you get what I mean? How then are we able to, understand each other if we are not putting it out there and evangelizing, so that if someone can be like, you know what, I get it. Because for me to get it, I saw it at Siasibulela when he did a podcast with the Sand Twins. I saw it with there's this other guy, what's his name, Richard something, when he did an interview with Lecrae. If they hadn't done those interviews and I was like, oh no, you're impeding on my rights and etc., it would have been unfair, because I got an opportunity to be like, I can relate to that. I feel like people have to be comfortable in their own truth. Even if the next person comes with their own truth, it shouldn't take anything away from that, as long as we're doing it in a safe way. And I feel like I tried to maintain that safety by telling people, please do not use my story against the LGBTQ plus community. And to be honest, I did say that I'm still attracted to the same sex, um, to the same sex.
If you
Excuse me.
if your identity as a Christian is based, rather, if your identity as a Christian demands of you to be sexually attracted to women only because you were born a man, then why do you think God is still allowing you, or it is still in your heart, that you are queer?
I think I think the problem with that will be if why a lot of times, especially when things are happening to us, we're so quick to blame God. God, why would you allow this? Da, 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 da. Because even the Bible did say that we are born out of sin. There was a reason why he said that we have to be reborn. Our God is a jealous God. And he is very adamant in wanting to see us choose him versus the enemy. I do not know why he placed this law of same-sex attraction in me. I can't even say it's him, because I've always said that I was born gay, until I asked myself, but what evidence do I have that I was born gay? Do you get what I mean? Because I've always denied that, people could just, you know, get with the lifestyle of LGBT along the way. I was like, but I was born with it. But what evidence do I have when the Bible does not stipulate that and is against that? I feel like my journey is confusing because it's confusing. That on its own, it's a revelation. And because I'm speaking, I'll get more people. And I have really already gotten more people who came around and was like, you know what, I'm going to walk you through this. You're going to help understand yourself, etc. But I wouldn't want to make more decisions in my life, avoiding my truth, but harming myself more.
Are you in a journey right now, as you're saying you have people around you who are helping you through the journey? Are you in a journey where you are trying to ungay yourself?
It's not, I don't know of the possibility of uncaying yourself. Lungelo, I'm not gonna lie to you. I still see you guys and I'm like, oh, to my friends, did you see that guy? But I'm struggling in, I guess, complementing my lifestyle with my religious beliefs. And I really want to find nuances. And I'm struggling to find that because obviously my religion is against that. So do I now leave Christianity because I don't believe that I could be gay and Christian? I'm still trying to figure out that. I don't have all the answers, but right now I'm just more focused on embracing God.
Why is the bone of contention in your Christianity only your sexuality and your
And it's
gender?
not.
Because there's so much it takes to live a holy life.
It's not.
As a righteous man, there is so much that goes into that. There's so much grace that you need to keep working on, rather that you need to ask God for, to apply into your lives, so that you can constantly be at work
100%.
to try and change who you are. But it seems like there's so much highlight in this journey of you being ungayed, rather than all the other nuances of our personality, our character, being slow to anger, being patient, being a good person, being kind, loving. Is that the only thing you're on?
No, and again, it's not the term "ungay." I'm not comfortable with it because I'm really not trying to ungay myself. I'm literally just being obedient, because I swear to God, when I went to God, I wasn't like, I want to be straight, or okay, you say this is a sin, okay, please make me like not gay anymore. That wasn't the goal. The goal was having a relationship with God. Hence, I had started reading the Bible from scratch. But I have also relayed to my friends that a lot of people like crucifying, and I understand why that would have been big, because I guess, like you had said, I have played some role of being a pioneer in the LGBT community, so obviously it will blow up. And also because it is a sensitive issue that has been politicized so much. But that's why I was trying to play safe. But I've always said to people, that's like a little piece of my revelation. There's a lot that's happening in my life that I'm surrendering for God. Like, for example, secular music, I'm struggling of, getting rid of Aries. I'm struggling of getting rid of Drake and all of my favorite artists. And a little I'm celibate now, I think, for 7 months, where I'm just trying to be pure and literally just focus on God. But I'm still struggling because the other day I had a little bit of weed and I was having a great time. So I'm also allowing myself to just be imperfect whilst I show God that I'm really fighting for you. But if I fall into a pit bull, please do not like crucify me for that, because I'm only a human being, and I'm also waiting for my Damascus moment where I'm fully like Paul. Do you get what I mean? So it's not only that, there's a lot of things from secular music. I mean, I still am, up until today, still fighting myself to lose grip of, homosexual pornography. Do you get what I mean? Of self gratification and all of those things. I'm still fighting in all areas of my life. It's just that my sexuality would become a highlight, because obviously people would not expect to sort of like say something like that in context of religion and sexuality, because that's who have always been. Do you get what I mean? But there's a lot. It's not just my sexuality. That's like the small piece of what's happening with.
All the things you speak of, that you're saying you are struggling to get rid of, but you're working so hard to get rid of or to stop doing. Do you not feel like you are relying on your own power a lot, rather than relying on God to transform you over time in areas of your life that you feel do not please Him or are not in line with God? Because it sounds like, to me, you're so eager to reach this Paul moment, you call it. But to me, it sounds like you're just eager to reach a perfection which is also modeled by society. And you think it is just your faith, but really, society also models that same perfection.
True. And I think because society also models that perfection was, the standard was set by the Bible. And because I have read the Bible, literally it's nothing else. It has nothing to do with society, because at the end of the day, as much as I have experienced a lot of scrutiny, a lot of hate, I've always at the end of the day did what I did. I didn't care what anybody said. If I wanted to be on Instagram with my butt out, no one was going to tell me anything. So I feel like I could have still continued being like that. But obviously, there's some sort of a different form of truth that came in place. That's why now the reaction is different to that. And I don't think it's a reliance of, I'm not praising, like idolizing myself by trying to do all of these things for my, changing and striving for perfection, because you can never be perfect. But I think also it comes with obedience, and obedience is very, very, very particular. You cannot, say that you love God but still do other things, and fully committing yourself to do everything that's against God. You cannot claim the kingdom of, light but still do things of the kingdom of darkness and say you love God, because even Jesus said that if you really, really love me, you literally do, you will not sin. You basically follow in the things that I try to do, because he did tell his disciples, hey, when he was ascending to heaven, go make a discipleship of my nation. Do you get what I mean? And that discipleship comes with a standard that the Bible has set for us to follow. Anyway, so I don't think it's me trying to like be perfect. It's just obedience, and that obedience for me, I'm taking it from the Bible. Because he did also say, I'm looking at a yearning heart. My heart yearns for God. That's why I feel like I need to lose grip of everything that doesn't make God happy. I feel like my love for God is so strong. That's why I do not enjoy sinning anymore. It's not the fact that I don't want to sin, but going to Him and loving Him so much just makes me feel like, I feel like if I do this thing, it's going to create a distance for Him, and I don't want to be distant from God. That's where I'm at right now.
There's a queer person who's struggling with wanting to unalive themselves, struggling with terrible abuse. They maybe even a teenager. And here is Inno saying that I'm actually trying to get away from that. You're confusing me more. I thought God loves me as I am. So what is the truth about God? Am I not loved by God?
Everybody is loved by God, but everybody is struggling with something. Do you get what I mean? And I'm gonna sound like Paul right now when he says I do not have all the answers. Jesus Christ has all the answers, because I really do not have all the answers, and I really genuinely don't want to harm other people, because there's a same community that has housed me, that has provided safety for me, that has got me to love myself. Lungelo, I hated waking up every day sometimes and be like, oh my God, I just want to like go with my friends to a gay club and meet some boy. The other day, ex boyfriend asked me back, and I was like, I had such a difficult time deciding if I was going to allow him to be back in my life, or if I was going to continue on this journey that I am. So it's really not easy. I guess everybody has their struggles, and we all have to deal with our personal struggles. I can only tell you my truth and help you also navigate yours in your fashion of understanding of how to deal with your own truth. But it's our responsibility to also handle our own lives at the end of the day. I cannot be a responsibility of somebody's lives, but I can be cautious and safe in how I address somebody when they need answers from me.
Do you believe your mom is happy with you right now?
I like I saw mme ka ke ne le motho a na ratang ntate Modimo haholo. A ne le motho e le hore ha ba neneng on a re dula re rapela nako nako kaofela, re tla rapela ka bo 12, re rapela ka 3. More than anything, she used to literally like tell me about how much I'm such a great evangelist. Like literally, my mom, if I wasn't the one praying, it almost like she didn't feel the prayer, because she just believed in the power that was vested in me through God. And I don't know if she would necessarily be happy that I'm eternally suffering, but I know she will sort of get some comfort that I am choosing God, because I think every parent wants to see their kids happy. And I'm not saying the religion is not making me happy, but I am saying that it's not making me enjoy who I feel like I should be on earth. And I think that comes with the sacrifice of following God, because I feel like a lot of times we feel like we supposed to be happy. I need to live my life. I need to be da 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 da. It's all about me, 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 and we forgot that we're designed for a purpose on this earth, and that purpose is to live for Him and not for me. You understand? My happiness doesn't matter if His happiness is not recognized. I feel like He has to be happy with me first before I can recognize some sort of happiness within myself, and His happiness is completely reliant in how I become obedient and how I become, selfless in His word. So I feel like a lot of times now these days we live in as a selfish people. It's all about me. Like why would God not make me a certain way, or why would God bring this into me? It's just all about us and not about God anymore. I don't know why.
We're nearing the end of our conversation. Do you believe you're living your purpose?
That's a good question. Religiously, yes. Um, Humanly, no. I still have like, ideas of going to clubs and performing songs and being great and going out with my friends. And now I can't even do that anymore. And I guess that's where people start saying that it's not going to be easy, but you just have to trust God. But I'm not going to lie to you and be like, oh, yeah, it's all happy, you know what? Everything is amazing. It's not. It's really not. It's not nice. It's not nice, but I'm going to continue trusting God.
And last but not least, what's that one thing in life you know for sure? The one thing you're absolutely certain of?
I don't know. I don't know.
The confusion is still there, ne?
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah,
It's still early.
yeah.
That's why I always say, if you see me 3 months later, you know, doing my trans thing, wasn't because I was trying to trend or be controversial, but it's because it's so hard. It's really so hard. It's just so hard to live within the truth, live within God's transparency and what He expects of us. It's not easy, especially if you're amongst people who are not like-minded and also who don't get it, it's almost like you fall short very quickly. You also forget about those values that you feel like he had instilled because you eventually start finding interest in a lot of things that you want to sacrifice for him. It's a lot. I'm still confused, and I'm very honest about that, and I think it's okay. Um, I don't know. I don't even know what it's.
By the
I
way,
don't
I
know what
don't
it's.
know is an answer.
Yeah.
Valid answer.
Okay. Thank you.
To say I don't
Because I feel
know,
like now I'm rabbiting around, and when I say I don't know, it's almost like I
absolutely.
don't
It,
trust
it
what I'm saying.
it's very valid to say I'm in a state where I'm unclear.
Yeah.
I'm trying very hard, giving it
Yeah.
my all, but still clarity hasn't come to me.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people almost say a lot of things that it's a sharing on social media and things that I say they come from me. I'm not the one who is saying that this is a saying or what da da da. It's literally treated from the Bible. And if I'm saying I'm Christian, I have to quote the Bible. I can't quote scriptures from other verses, and when it suits my lifestyle, I'm like, oh, this one I'm not gonna entertain it just because I feel like it doesn't agree with me. Do you get what I mean? So every single time when I say something, it's not necessarily for me. I always just quote the Bible. This is what God says if you are truly Christian. I'm not saying it because I'm literally being obedient to him, and I wouldn't say it coming from me because I'm still living that. So I'm trying to understand why would I also advocate for something that goes against me, but at the same time it's like I just need to give my life to God.
Just because I, as Lungelo, wear black, wear shirts, jeans, pants all the time, and I conform to worldly standards in how I look and how I present myself, I do not have the right to look at a person like Inno who goes through their struggles in public. Perhaps maybe if you had a camera on your own life throughout the seasons of your life, throughout the changes, people would be horrified as to what they'll see. But you get to go through the highs, the lows, the peaks and the troughs without anybody seeing what you are going through, without anybody seeing who you have to apologize to, without anybody seeing how much you betray yourself all the time. But you get to forgive yourself in private and come back up. So as you watch this episode, I hope you are sensitive to Inno's story, that the only difference between you and him is that he's had to go through everything in public. He's had to be bold in how he's going through everything. And maybe you are not bold. You're just hiding in a shell thinking you're perfect. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I'll see you in the next episode.
Kholwa emandleni onawo.
Oh my, we're finally doing this. What does EYL Africa represent? It's about standing in your power. It's about, in isiZulu, it's kholwa emandleni onawo, which is our tagline. You will see it on the back of my t-shirts. It's about believing in the power that you have, believing in the power that your God, your guides have invested in you. Shop our socks, shop our t-shirt, and yeah, just keep believing in yourself. EYL Africa.
Now available on eylshop.africa.